Well, welcome back to the Appalachian Outfeed. Yeah, it's been a minute since we did any of this, but here we are. Been busy trying to get the last of the firewood cut up and in. Got stymied by life events, just running the roads, doing this and that, and weather. We've had quite a bit of rain, snow, whatever, and it's just not a lot of fun standing out in the middle of all that trying to split wood, not to mention just tearing the ground up when it's too soggy outside. So we are 2 months, almost to the day, since we got the first load of wood, and just got it finished up yesterday. So right at 2 months to get all that stuff split, which is about probably 6 weeks longer than what I thought it was going to take with that splitter, but hey, it is what it is, right? So we got a beautiful day. It was supposed to snow last night. When I went to bed about 10 o'clock, they were calling for like a 98% chance of snow at 1 in the morning. You know how much snow we got? Zippo. None. Nada. I think it rained a little bit. And it's cold. Right now we're at a 38 degrees, something like that, at 2:30 in the afternoon. And it's pretty breezy too. So definitely got that going on, but a beautiful day nonetheless. So I just thought I'd give you guys one last update so you can see how the wood pile kind of ended up for the year. If you're a weirdo and care about that kind of stuff, we'll check that out, and then I'm going to cut this video and then go do a few product reviews for you guys, maybe save y'all a couple of bucks and a little bit of heartache. Anyway, so let's get to it. So we are out here at what I'm calling the annex, which is my overflow wood. We ran out of space on the main pile, and so what you're looking at there on the right hand side is that's a 16-foot run of wood, about 3 feet high. Those are 8-foot posts on the end cut in half, so those are 4 foot total from the ground up. If you look on the bottom there, that's some nice oak on the bottom, and man, that stuff split. It just popped in half, and got some real chunky square pieces out of that, so that was pretty nice. And then you can notice the upper 2/3 of that's kind of whiter wood. I think that's going to be ash, and that stuff was horrible. So we'll take a little bit closer look at that, and you can see, so these are some uglies on top, and that kind of illustrates, you see how stringy that mess is? I didn't split this much as much as it sheared in half. It was horrible. None of it's hardly straight. Some of it is, but a whole bunch of twisty grain and all that mess. Just gnarly. Really strong wood, and I guess that's why it makes good ball bats and that kind of thing. Here again, same sort of thing. You got that big chunky red oak down on the bottom, and then I got some overflow ash up here on top. I mean, look at this piece right here. That's kind of representative of what a lot of it is. Just horrible. Can't hardly stack it. So that's another 8-foot rack right there. So yeah, that's been the last day or so messing with all that. There's a little brush pile that's left over from clearing all this out to make room for all these wood piles. Got to get out here and clean that up, although I kind of like it because it's kind of habitat for birds and stuff. It'd be nice if some quail would set up in there. Hear them very occasionally around here. So last season I bought a roll of tar paper, roofing tar paper, in an attempt to keep water off the wood pile, and that was a failed experiment. That was 40-50 bucks I blew right there. I shouldn't have, because the stuff won't stay on top of the wood pile no matter how much wood I stack on top of it. And over and above that, it's not, it degrades in the sunlight, and it gets real brittle and just doesn't hold up very well. So we'll chalk that one up as a failed experiment. So here's an 8-foot rack. That one's going to be quite a bit taller. Here again, we're up on concrete blocks, but I'm 6'4". So you can see about how tall this is. It's probably a 5-foot stack of wood, and most of these stacks are running between 4 and 5 feet tall off the landscape timbers. You see my scheme I got going on there. Got the cinder blocks on the bottom, and then landscape timbers usually for the supports. It's the cheapest lumber I could find that'll hold up for a little while. Seems to be working okay. A lot of stuff's in its second year, and I've used this stuff before, and it lasts a surprisingly long time, the landscape timbers. So this is some stuff I split and stacked earlier in the season. That's rocking right along. You can see all this stuff is already starting to kind of check up, so that's good. It's drying out already. This stuff isn't as wet as that other stuff that we just looked at. This is some nasty old poplar that again fell down in the driveway last year. I got to burn this up this year in the outside fire pit because it's in my way. Now, that's fire pit wood, poplar. Don't care much for that. There's a little bit of locust wood that I got off a tree that fell back down by the pond, and there's some more back there I need to get. And we just got more oak and whatnot. All this is really gonna be really good burning wood, I think. So one of the problems I had this go around is the amount of shorties and uglies I got off the pile. I guess I'm going to throw these on top of the existing wood stacks, but there's more of them than I'd like, and I don't want them tipping the pile over, tipping the stack over. This is something from last year that we didn't get into, so that is 4 racks of that stuff. So happy about that. We didn't literally burn through all the wood. We're still in burning season, but we are not burning it nearly as much as we were last month. Keeping the fire in at night, and that's about it. And it holds the rest of the day. And then some more of this other oak and chet. So some of that on the bottom here, about the bottom third of that's going to be cherry from the cherry tree that blew down. We got that on video a while back. And then some more oak. So yeah, I think I'm running 17 racks of wood at this point, plus what we got in the annex over there. Here's more sticker bushes I've yet to clear out. I'm gonna spend this week coming up cleaning up around here, kind of resetting. I've been working so hard trying to get this wood done in my spare time. I say spare time, trying to get it done whenever I had time to do it, that kind of neglected some other stuff, and I gotta catch up on that. So, and here's the last load. This was split up yesterday, and again, man, this was some large ash trunks that were not a lot of fun to bust up. I mean, this stuff worked me. They were big, heavy rounds, even though I didn't cut them to full length like I usually do. Most of this stuff gonna be running, they're 9 inches. Yeah, most of this stuff's gonna be running about 18 inches long. Just so I had to knock the length down on the rounds just so I could get the rounds up on the splitter and then be able to manipulate them when they were up on the splitter. So it just really ice baby. Trying to manipulate them when they're on the splitter. Man, this was some nasty, gnarly stuff. I mean, again, this is about what we're looking at. All these crotches and knots, and that was not a lot of fun to split at all. But we got it done. I'm gonna move some of this locust wood around and make some room for this stuff. and then we'll be done. I ran into one piece of wood this year that the 22-ton rugged made splitter wouldn't split, and that was actually my very last piece. It's a piece of ash, and it's got some crotch action, and the grain just goes every which way, and it wouldn't, the wedge, the ram wouldn't push it on the wedge maybe a ½ an inch. It was amazing. So I'm gonna have to get the saw out and try to noodle that thing up, get it going. But other than that, the splitter did really good this year. Learned a couple things about it, some safety things, and just the good and bad of that splitter. Surprisingly, I ran that thing less than 8 hours splitting all this wood this year. I put an hour meter on it before I ran it even for the first time, and I think last time I looked at it, which was toward the end of the day yesterday, I was running 7.7 hours of actual run time on that thing. Unbelievable. So if all I did was split wood for 8 hours straight, it split all this new wood that you just looked at. So that's pretty incredible. But that 8 hours was strung over the span of 2 months, if you can believe that. Probably, I don't know, 30 or 45 minutes at a time. So I'd split, basically the way it works is I split a load of wood like this, which is all that my little tractor can pull out here, which is amazing in itself that it can even do that. And then yeah, bring a load out here, stack it, go back, split another load, lather, rinse, repeat. But it just takes time. It takes time to get all the wood bucked to length. Then you got to get it over to the splitter, or the splitter to it, and then the actual splitting, chunking it in here, carrying it out here usually doesn't take very long, although there was a couple times I had to actually physically myself push the wagon to get it going to where the mower could get enough traction to pull the stuff out here, pull the wagon out here. And then once I get it out here, have to stack it. Stacking takes longer than it probably should, because I try to go slow and do a good job, because it's going to be stacked up out here for at least a year, maybe 2. And the last thing I want it to do is fall over, so I've got to restack it. So that's not the fastest process. And then you get to factor in that I'm old and decrepit, and yeah, this takes a little while between the weather delays and just life in general. It's, you know, that 8 hours actually on the splitter took me 2 months, which is again kind of incredible. I thought I was going to get this done in a couple of weeks. I got a mess over there where the splitter was. I will say that 4-way wedge, which is one of the things I thought was a must-have for that splitter, really wasn't that great. I mean, I used it a good bit, but the longer I ran the splitter, the less I used it. It makes a big old mess. I mean, it shreds stuff off the wedge, and you end up with this big pile of wood garbage underneath the splitter, and it hardly ever splits the wood the size that you want it with the 4-way. So I would just end up using the single wedge and getting the 2 pieces, putting them back together, flipping them 90 degrees, and running it through, and I get 4 pieces with 3 runs of the ram. So not terrible, and that seemed to work a little bit better. So anyway, live and learn. Well, that's all I got for you guys. We will see you next time.